I'm about to have a chat with Geoff Nicholls. He's a volunteer here at the Hunter Wetlands Centre, and he leads a team responsible for looking after the grasslands here at the wetlands. Hi Geoff. What area do you work in and why is it important?
Well, I work mainly in the bushland areas on site, so off the tracks, where we've already got established vegetation and where there's been an invasion of weeds, and our team goes out and manages those weeds and then replants as well where we've left bare spots behind.
Why is that important?
Well, it's important to replant because otherwise the weeds will kind of re-establish themselves, but it's important to remove the weeds because they eventually can take over the native vegetation, reducing the amount of biodiversity we have out here.
What made you decide to dedicate your volunteer hours to the Hunter Wetlands Centre, and what do you get out of it?
Well, it's a long story, Maureen, as in I originally came out here with the community volunteer program in 1988 when the wetlands didn't have any paid ground staff, and I volunteered for 2 years doing that. And then in 1990 I was amongst the first 2 ground staff to be employed at the Wetlands Centre. So I did TAFE qualifications for my job, and I was employed here on staff until 2012, and then I was made redundant. Being an environmental organisation, we couldn't keep up paying all the wages, and I went to uni, finished a Bachelor of Arts, and then in 2014 when I graduated I came back as a volunteer, and I've been happily doing my old job as a volunteer, which has got lots of benefits to it.
What are some of the benefits?
Well, the benefits are the freedom in a sense that you're not obliged to work for a wage, so therefore you can be a little bit more tolerant with your hours, and also that tolerance you have for your fellow workers as well, because we're all in the same boat. There's a kind of a spirit to volunteering that has a freedom about it that I really enjoy, but it's also because everybody's on different learning curves. When you're an employed staff member, you're basically all trained the same, so we already have this expectation of each other. But with volunteers we can find out things about what they don't know and kind of supplement that knowledge, but also learn from them in other practical ways of doing things. And of course the camaraderie, that's very important. There are so many wonderful parts of the wetlands, but I've always found solace looking onto Ironbark Creek as it flows around our boundary and Hexham Swamp beyond. I just feel we're sort of on the margin of a much vaster tidal wetlands, and I just love the energy of that tidal flow.